Alright guys, God of Weapons. This game is absolutely amazing. I had a blast playing it, and so let me go and give you guys a short little introduction and show off kind of what this game actually has. So, just as a heads up, this is not a sponsored video. It's a game that I purchased myself. It's literally only $5.99. I'm about 10-ish hours in, and I can confidently say that if you are a fan of Diablo or Path of Exile, you will really enjoy this game. It is a roguelike, bullet hell, vampire survivor-ish game in terms of the genre, but starting right off, you have lots of different classes, and each one of these classes may have different subclasses, or they call them aspects in here, but they actually do change how the character looks, sometimes just by a little bit, and sometimes there are other variations of other classes in the game. The designer of this game did an excellent job in terms of class identity, and some of the crazy things that you can do in this game are really awesome. But I just want to start off with some gameplay because, like, if you don't enjoy kind of how the gameplay works, then what's the point of the rest of this video, right? But the game, I can say, is definitely very good. So it's only 1.7 gigs, anyways, if you want the file size. So at the start, you'll only have a few classes, but you'll unlock more as you progress. And what's really cool is these classes do start off with different items, as well as they start off with potentially different unique items that can completely modify your gameplay experience. And there's multiple different difficulties, and you can kind of progress with your character. I've been kind of specking into getting the ranged stuff, so I'm just going to hop right in for some gameplay, and then I'll show you guys like the deep dive into like the complexity. So we're going to start off with the automatic crossbow. It's one of my favorite weapons, and I like the antler, and we can just go max difficulty. You'll have to unlock the difficulties just like any action RPG, but it is a bullet hell game, survivor, roguelike. So you'll see that there are traps, there's different like stages, but in terms of the tile set, I would say it's kind of underwhelming. I would like to see like a snow tile set, maybe a jungle one, or just more variety than like this dungeon. But in terms of the gameplay, you are running around. Obviously, it's going to get harder as we progress. Since I have some upgrades, the first few stages are going to be an absolute cakewalk. I can pretty much hold still. In fact, there are builds where your character actually wants to hold still. So this is where this game actually becomes good. So in terms of the gameplay itself, it's still fun. It's still engaging. You do have a dodge ability, and I'll show you guys that in the next level. But what makes this game fun is actually the inventory. This is probably one of the coolest inventory systems I've seen in any game, in any action RPG genre. I also wish that this game had audio while you are in this menu, because in this menu right here, where there is just your inventory, I'm just going to play some UT99 OST in the back, so there's some audio. Wish they added audio here, because I'll talk about my, I guess, pros and the cons of this game. It's not necessarily a review, but a lot of people ask me, is this game fun? Is it worth your time? And this is the fun part, okay? So I'll move my face out of the way so you can see all the items. You do get a decent amount of gold in the game. They're not very stingy with the gold. So starting right off, this is our inventory. So I'll go ahead and put in these spaces. So depending on the class that you play, you may want to organize your inventory a little bit different. And you'll see that the stash actually is the biggest part of the game in terms of the game's complexity. So starting right off, you'll see our stash space. And if I hover over the item, you'll be able to see exactly how many spaces this takes up. And you can rotate these items. Now, I started off with the antler, which is one of my favorite, and it gives a special unique power where adjacent weapons gain extra 30% attack speed. So this will benefit off of this. You can see the attack speed is 0.11. If I move it over here, the attack speed is actually going to change. So this definitely does matter. It does not count diagonals in the game, by the way. So diagonals don't count, but if it's here or if it's here, I will benefit from it. So now I would want to organize my inventory to actually benefit off of this specific item in the very beginning. You can also get more XP. Resource gain, by the way, that is going to be your gold over here. It tells you, if you mouse over every single stat here, it tells you exactly what every single thing does in the game. So resource is basically like your gold fine over here, which is giving you negative. There are lots of different characters and classes that will give you negative stats in one department, but give you a huge benefit in another, and that's just part of the game. I'll show you guys some of the other classes in the game, but I just want to give you guys a brief little introduction to the game. So this one, the saw blade launcher, if I grab this and I put it, let's say right here, I could rotate the item as well. And if there's no more items that I want over here, I can hit reroll. It's going to cost us gold. And they are super generous in the earlier stages with like the gold costs. Like, it's very, very generous. Now, if I wanted this item, see, I can't put it right here. If I rotate it, let's see where we can put it. If you can pick up the item, you can actually put it in your inventory. Like this over here, I can't even buy it even though I have the amount of gold, and the reason why is because it couldn't go in my inventory. So I'm gonna put this item over here, and let's say I put this over here, and you'll see I cannot drag that one. Let's see if we can drag this one over here. Still can't because it does not fit. So ideally we would try to get everything to benefit off of this little antler here. So later on, maybe we can move it over here. I can move this down 1 square. If I was to get 1 more square, another row like right here for 3, then I could have all 3 benefit off of this. Well, we can re-roll and see if there's any other items here. And we have this crossbow. Now, the first item that I got, I haven't upgraded, so it upgrades it to tier 3. There are ways to upgrade your weapons. There's extra resource gain, which for like 1 extra little spot here, sure, I'll go ahead and fill that in. And I'm not going to re-roll because even if I re-rolled here, minus 7 gold, I'm probably not going to be able to buy anything realistically. So I would just go ahead, hit the next floor, and we'll go in. So there are different like traps that you want to dodge. You definitely don't want to stand in AoE. And you can actually do a dash. That's the only real like ability that you get with this character. But some characters, they do definitely play differently. Like there is one where you want to hold still, so we'll show off a little bit of variety. There's like a vampire character that's all about life leech. The classes matter a lot in this game. I've actually had a lot of luck with this class, which is the hunter. So our class has this downside where we can't use melee. So if I was to want to play that class, or if I was to play a class that I wanted to play with the melee weapons in the pool, then, well, we wouldn't run that one. So you can see now I have 4 spaces. What you can also do is re-roll your spaces. So remember how I was saying I could put this one over here? I would want to manage my inventory to maybe get specifically that, storage size to fit whatever I was going for. So, for example, I can move this down over here, move this over here, and now you will see, let's actually put it this way, this benefits from attack speed, this benefits, and this benefits. Now, could I go even further if I extended this further and put this one maybe rotated, let's say like over here? I could maybe put another weapon to also get that benefit off of this unique. Now, there's also unique weapons in the game. I'm actually just going to go ahead and hit like next floor. Normally, I'd sit here and reroll. Maybe I want to get extra crit chance and move speed, but I lose out in armor. So there are some items that will actually subtract some of your stats. I'm just going to hit next floor. I'm going to go to the main menu just so I can show you guys a little bit more of this game. So I can give you guys more of a brief rundown on the game because while I was streaming, people were wondering, is the game fun and stuff? So, like I mentioned before, in that little, like, buy menu, there's no audio, so I was playing some soundtrack from another game, but the music's okay for the game. I'll show you guys more characters, and I'll show you guys kind of like the end game. I recently completed this game, so there's still more characters to play, so there's still more content. It took me about 8 hours to get to the highest world tier, which is world tier 5, and unlock what I have right now. But a lot of these characters, you actually may need to read to figure out how to unlock them. Like one of them, the unlock condition is to reach floor level 5 without actually leveling up. So what you would do is, well, you wouldn't use, when you level up in the game, what you would do is you normally would put in your inventory spaces. That's what you get when you level up. Instead of skill points, you get like socket points, if you want to think of it like your inventory space. And I think that it's actually a really, really well-designed system. But here are some of the other classes like Lancer. We get extra move speed, we get more damage for move speed, and this character's more about pole arms. We do have minus dodge chance, which is basically we just don't take damage. There's also a Sentinel class, and you can see some of these as you unlock these other aspects for the class. They are basically completely different characters, but there are some really unique ones. Like, for example, the Sentinel is all about not moving. So the whole build is your character holds still, which is pretty funny. But yeah, you get extra armor, you get extra dodge chance, you get more damage, and on top of that, more attack speed for more dodge when not moving. So there's a lot of different builds for this game, and you can actually have relatively consistent builds. Because it's a roguelike, you don't get to save your stuff, you just kind of run through the level, and then you're going to be getting these little like shards, and I'll show you guys kind of what that looks like. So if I was to start off with this character, I could start off with a Crimson Scythe. And on top of having just the items, there's also basically multiple set bonuses for multiples of the same. Some of them may benefit for adjacent weapons. Like, for example, this Crimson Scythe says we get 2% lifesteal for each adjacent polearm, and this happens to be a polearm, so if I keep on stacking scythes, we can have a completely different build. We also have this another item where adjacent weapons gain attack speed for each 1% move speed. So some of the items may take up more space than others, and if I wanted to unlock these, you can see this one, it requires me to kill 1,000 enemies while you don't move, but we have to be playing the Sentinel. And then, of course, all of the different difficulties. I'm just going to hit start right here so I can show you guys maybe this character for a second. But on top of your progression in terms of your character when you level up, because remember, at the very end, it's a roguelike, so you lose everything, even if you do complete it. But you still get these little things on the bottom, and I'll show you what these look like. So these are your upgrades. These cost these little currencies over here that look kind of like little bloodstones. Okay, so you can see we have 6, and then we have these keys. So what we do with these, and as you play the game, and even if you fail, you will get some of these as your currency. You can see I've maxed out my projectile power, my luck, which gives us, think of it like Magic Find if you've played Diablo. You can get extra HP that gets restored, although I usually get Life Leech, so I don't really care about that. We can increase our dash's cooldown, we can get a free reroll at the shop, or we can get what's called a temporary slot, where we get to hold something. Basically, we get to hold one item. It's actually a pretty nice thing to have. You increase your pickup range, but that one's not really that important. But then you can also increase the tier of your starting weapons. And then what it's called, though, this little currency is called Titanite shards. This is where we have little 6 of them. That is basically the currency in the game. Now, there's a lot more things to unlock in this game, and you can see basically how to unlock it. So these are all the characters, and these are the different artifacts. And you may want to have a certain play style or play a certain character if you want to play a certain character. Some of these will have different rewards. You can see most of these are the Titanite shards. But if we go to characters, you can see in the blue are characters that we haven't unlocked. So for example, the merchant, we haven't unlocked that character. We're missing the Juggernaut. So we've unlocked a majority of the characters, but some of these you'll have to complete certain quests to actually do. Some of this stuff, it doesn't actually explain how you unlock it until a certain condition is met. So in the very beginning of the game, you won't have access to this monolith of wish, which kind of explains what you can unlock, but as you progress, you'll get that. There's actually a really unique character too. He's called the Fool, and how he works is he gives you random everything in the game. So you can have a random starting weapon as well as a random unique that is unique for your character. There's another room over here in the very beginning that has this ability to unlock things. So as you complete each floor, that's where the little like buy menu where we can rotate the items. This is the item pool, and right now this is what we have in the game. Like, we've acquired all of these items and we can get them. And if I want to get more stuff to appear, here, let me move my face out of the way so you can actually read this. So some of these will do some really cool, like, unique effects. If I mouse over this one, you can see in yellow, attacks with lightning bolts that bounce 2 times, applying a shock, gain +1 additional bounce for each adjacent enchanted weapon. The gameplay and the design of this game is absolutely top notch. There is also like a mana shield that you can get in the game. That's for the wizard class, where you're going to have like these other adjacent things. So you can see the starting item over here, it's called the Magic Amulet. So you're going to be able to get like a magic shield, and when you get stuff that gives you increased magic, you can see where it says Energy Shield. For each adjacent thing next to it, it's going to give us more Absorb. Now, there are other classes that completely change up the gameplay, and I was like blown away by this game with its depth, because this is where the game actually becomes really fun, is the depth. So there is this character called the King, and he's got a lot of really great stats. He's got massive luck, so that's like 20% magic find right there. We also got resource gain, so he's gonna got lots of gold, and then we get extra damage for every tier 4 weapon. So weapons have a tier, so it starts off on like a white, and then you can go blue, then you can go purple, and then you can go red. Red is the highest tier that you can get, and then on top of that, he has a downside where we get minus damage for every tier 1 item, and we have minus armor for every tier 1 item. So the goal with this class is to only have high tier weapons. But then there's also a different version of it, and again, some of these aspects, I think they could have just been other characters. It would have made the game even crazier for like the amount of characters that would exist in this little like town hub here. But the beggar has +5 luck, but he has minus resource gain, and he says a fraction of gold will be used to increase max HP, but instead of gold, we actually pay max health to buy items. So we actually use our HP as currency in the game. So that's going to be a completely new playstyle. There's also this character that I actually kind of like called the Aristocrat. It's called the Scholar. We get to have 100 experience gain and +1 inventory point for every 3 levels. So this character is all about increasing the storage of our build. And on top of that, we get extra bonus modifications on XP. But let me go and actually go to the Hunter. He's one of my favorite ones in the very beginning. The Hunter, which is the class I was playing, we have bonus range. Now, what's interesting with this class is at the very bottom, it says vitality modifications are less effective. What's interesting with this is even negative HP modifiers are less effective. So the build diversity for this game is absolutely top notch. I wish this was just a generic action RPG in the sense where it wasn't like these little like floors. I wish this was like a full game because I think the design and the creative direction that this game is heading is absolutely amazing. You can see this one cannot equip range weapons, so like the classes absolutely matter. I'm gonna show you guys some more like endgame gameplay of this game. Like I said, I've been playing this game for a while. Let me go ahead and pop it up just so you guys can see kind of what the endgame will look like over here. Let's go ahead and find some of the end game. Is this one? So this over here is like what the game looks like when you are pretty much like maxed out. This is floor 19. So how it works is you do 20 floors. The 20th floor is the very end. There is bosses, there are elites, and the elites are quite tough. But you can see we've got tons of different movement speeds, items over here. You can see on the right all the stats that we've acquired. But basically the game gets pretty insane. This is me playing the Hunter class, and yeah, this game's really awesome. You can see we basically spec'd out for lots and lots of movement speed as well as life steal, or like kind of like life leech. But this is where the game gets very, very intense towards like the end. The game does get quite challenging, but I wanted to give you guys a brief little introduction to the game. As you know, a lot of people are asking, what is this game? Is it fun? Absolutely, it's not sponsored or anything. And as far as it goes on Steam, it's 1.7 gigs as of right now, just for all of the info. But that is the God of Weapons. What did you guys think of it? If you guys have played it, I would love to know your thoughts, as I do plan to make some content with this game. And what I find interesting with this game is you could basically do build guides for this, even though you know, all the items that you acquire are random, since you can reroll. And again, they are very generous as you progress with the currency in the game. You could definitely make your builds like pretty consistently, I would say. There are some items that are quite rare, like for the Hunter class, there's an item that I absolutely need to get if I'm going to try to complete a run. And what the item does allow us to do is it lets the projectiles pierce. There's unique items in the game that will have special like effects. Like there's one where like if you hit an enemy from behind, tridents will fall down from the sky. So there are unique weapons, and with this character we have a unique as well. And you're going to be able to unlock more classes, and on top of that, get more items in the game as you progress. You can see this character, I like to have pole arms. Pole arms, in terms of its item size, are usually going to be like long weapons. So let me go and see if I can get another lance. You can see I can't pick this one up because it's too long. But this one over here gives us extra attack speed for each 1% movement speed. So this one, I don't want to put it over here so both of these can benefit. And because this item is a pole arm, this gives me plus lifesteal for each adjacent pole arm. And you can see over in the top right where we have basically sets, you can see with pole arm we have extra range, and range is going to be able to increase, well, how far your character can attack. Again, this character has negative dodge chance, but like the complexity in this game is just top notch, and I'm really looking forward to see if this game gets any more updates with not only the game itself, but I would love for this game to get more DLC. Basically, I want more tile sets. I would like this area to have music, really, because this game is a blast though. Like you can get extra barrels. Barrels in this game basically just spawn random items. You can get invulnerability, you can get extra HP, although I usually opt to get life leech. But there are some pretty crazy items and modifications that you can get in the game. One of them will actually spawn an elite on the floor. You can get extra density. Like this game is just amazing. I have nothing really but mostly positive things to say with this game. Again, it's not sponsored. I genuinely bought this game myself, and it's a blast. But that is a brief introduction to the God of Weapons game. Anyways, that's gonna wrap it up. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like on it. If you're new here and want to see more of this, I might do like full clears. It's about 30 plus minutes to do like a full clear of at least like the higher world tiers. But I'll be uploading more of this game, but I figured I'd give you guys an introduction. Anyways, subscribe if you want to see more of it. See you in the next one. Take care. Peace out.